Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. I was just thinking it's been a little while since our last garden update, and there's a whole lot to catch up on. We're in the middle of the month of July here in Calgary, Alberta, and things have really been growing. So if you're keen, come along for a quick tour and we'll see where things are at in the garden. Let's check it out. Well, here we are, middle of July. I thought I'd give you guys another update, take a peek at where things are at here in the Sunnyside Garden. So straight ahead of us here we have some potatoes in containers. They're all getting nice and lush. Sunflowers over here are really going for it. I got some cilantro here that I'm gonna let go to flower, I think. Maybe even collect the seed off of it. As you can see over here, things have really been going pretty crazy. Growing quite a bit. And I've installed a second structure, second roof over certain things. Over the potatoes and onions and carrots in that bed. Wrapped these two structures in poly, just for a little bit of protection, and hopefully so they'll serve as a fall bed. But looking over here, you can see the pole beans coming along real nice. Scarlet runner beans producing some nice flowers for us. Down here we got some herbs, a couple of squashes sending out their flowers. This one's got the male flower coming out. I don't see any female flowers yet, but I might hand pollinate that. Delphinium blooming, looking beautiful. And you can see this pumpkin here has made it all the way to the top of the arbor now. It's really been climbing. It's actually producing fruit at the top of the arbor, which might be a problem for me, because that's going to weigh down the plant. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, I suppose. But yeah, this is kind of, most of my work this week was spent doing a little bit of construction and building this enclosure over this way. Well, let's take a look over here. Got tomato coming along nice, good growth. On this trellis here, we've got a squash and a zucchini. Squash is another one of those ones where you can see this flower, I pollinated it by hand. I just literally took the male flower, smeared it in there, and you can see down here on this zucchini plant, it's starting to fruit for me, which is exciting. Hoping those turn into some beautiful yellow zucchini. And over here we got a couple of cucumbers, some of which are flowering, so you can see down in there. And again, another couple of squash here, looking like they want to produce some fruit for us. This is the ginger experiment and the flower bed here. We've got our nasturtium, marigold, calendula, and this is the borage, really going for it. Some peppers here, doing all right. And these here are onions. Some of them you can see, they're right ready. They've got their little seed cases or whatever you'd call them at the top, and they're getting ready to flower. And these potatoes are also producing nice flowers for us. Let's see if we can go around this way. Take a look at what's going on over here. Yeah, I'm so impressed with this borage, and I've seen a lot of bees on it already. So here we go with the potatoes, producing a variety of nice flowers here. And they're really getting tall. That's part of why I built this as tall as I did. It's just these potatoes are kind of gargantuan. I did plant them quite densely, so we'll see how that plays out. Around here, got some chamomile that's going to flower. looking really lovely, and some more scarlet runner right over here. And these pole beans, you know, they're making their way up the arbor as well, climbing quite a bit, just even on a daily basis. So that's exciting. These dill, I also let them flower, and they're getting super tall, as you can see. Lots of flowers going on over in this section. This is my little wildflower zone. Fairly pleased with how that's coming along. And over here, this is where our peas are at, as they climb and make their way out of the phone booth. So you can see some peas starting to form on there, and some lovely little white flowers. And if we come around to this side of the phone booth, we can also see some more peas creeping out on this side, and again starting to produce pea pods, which is rather exciting in my mind. And there's even some inside of here too. Down here I've just got some couple of tomato containers, and they are starting to produce fruit. Let's take a peek here. Just the first signs of tomatoes starting to form on there, so that's exciting as well. Let me see if I can sneak around. Perhaps I will try and sneak around this way. Look at that onion, eh? That looks ready to go. These carrots are really getting lush. I wanted to come around to this side and show you guys that. Some of them are leaning a bit, which I may correct, but we'll see. Yeah, it might be time to harvest these pretty soon. I'm not sure. And this is just heavy duty poly that I wrapped the tops in. So we'll see how that holds up. Got some nasturtium and calendula right over there. And here's our greens bed. That's what this has been serving as so far for the most part. We got some cole crops in here too though. Some kohlrabi and rutabaga. Planted some bush beans that are coming up. And over here we have a couple types of radish, some red vein sorrel, and some cress. These are our parsnips. They've really been developing nicely actually. And over here I planted some microgreens. So these are green pea shoots. We've got crunchy bean mix, so a variety of bean sprouts. Beets coming along fairly well. Some of the leaves are showing a little bit of sickness, but I don't know if that's going to be a huge problem or not. And then down here, if I can show you, this is the purple cabbage that I actually performed surgery on. I dug it up, picked the maggots off of it that were affecting it, and replanted it. And they're looking a little saggy and wilty, but it's been a couple weeks since I did that operation, and they're making a good comeback, I think. Some of these are radishes that I direct sowed. I've recently harvested kind of on this side of the bed. And then some beets and more microgreens, so a couple of radish and some kale and arugula, and of course lettuce coming along over there. These containers are just some odds and ends. This is eucalyptus here. And believe it or not, that is dandelion that I'm trying to grow there. Some fennel. And this is a Russian willow that I was given. Got a flowering mint and a variety of flowers along here. And this is what our herb bed looks like at this stage in the game. So really happy overall with how things are developing. This chamomile just started to flower for us. So you can see it's producing flowers. Got my lemon balm, mint, basil, a couple more tomatoes, some peppers along here. In the middle we got some tarragon and some beet greens. Parsley really going for it. And these I've already pruned back and harvested several times actually. So I've already gotten a good harvest of herbs from my garden. Hopefully more where that came from. These tomatoes are getting nice and thick. on my little trellises that I made for them. So I imagine they'll continue to develop. And if we head over this way, we can see a little bit more going on over here. Some tomato, sunflowers. Down here we got the lentils. These are those heirloom lentils from my grandmother. And they're starting to produce exquisite little flowers to complement what's happening over here. Or I've got some more cucumbers, and when they produce flowers, I'm hoping that these other flowers, like the borage for example, will attract beneficial insects over here and pollinate these guys here. This is the beginnings of a cucumber, so that's exciting to see. God willing, that'll turn into a really nice fruit for us. Technically they are kind of a variant on a berry, the cucumbers. Some peppers doing all right, so we'll see if they want to produce peppers for me or not. More tomato here, looking fairly healthy, nice dark green. And these nasturtium, you know, I've been enjoying picking the greens off those and incorporating them into salads and whatnot. Here's some more calendula here that'll blossom any day now. You can see with this nasturtium, it's starting to creep along the ground, which is rather interesting. And it looks like it actually wants to climb this arbor here. So we'll see what happens on that front. Over here we got more of the flowers. Keep that beneficial insect game strong. These are buckwheat that have recently blossomed. So those are looking lovely indeed. And a few other flower types just to attract beneficial insects into the garden. These are mostly Phacelia here. You can see again, I think this is going to produce a really beautiful blossom when it unfurls itself. Here we just got some astilbe and some kale over here. Seems to be enjoying the shade. Along this fence I've just got a couple of vine types along with some potatoes. This is Morning Glory. We've got some hops and some prairie clematis here. And if we look down this way, I do have some more potatoes coming up, as well as some peas and some beans. I've got this tub here to catch water in case it rains. It rained pretty good last night, in fact. There's our taters, and these peas looking pretty lovely, and again producing some wonderful, beautifully colored flowers. I believe these are actually sweet peas here, but you can see I do have some edible ones as well. They're starting to produce peas for me. A couple little pods there. And these beans, you know, back here things got pretty soaked out. Not so much in those containers over there, but more at the ground level. This area really tends to let water pool, and so that's been a bit of a problem. Things have gotten wetter than I would have preferred. And then just over here, keeping things dry, but a couple more types of herbs that I'm trying to grow. Some rosemary, some oregano, and basil. Keeping it nice and dry over here. So yeah, that's all for now. I appreciate you taking the time to tune in, and hope it was fun for you to see kind of where things are at in the middle of the month of July here. So that's all for now. And until next time, happy gardening. Well, thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed that video update. Stay tuned for more of the same as we make our way through the summer. Until next time, happy gardening. Bye for now.